Welcome to Kaifeng City, where just when you thought things had calmed down after Chapter 1, Chapter 2 kicks in, and suddenly the entire economy explodes. Copper coins vanish. Tang coins flood the market. The citizens starve, the officials get richer, and you, who just wanted to find Aunt Han, somehow get dragged into an ancient financial crisis bigger than a collapsed housing bubble. Amid the chaos appears Ying, a woman who's smart, dangerous, and has so many schemes that you're not even sure if she's teaming up with you, or just using you as her latest chess piece. And just like that, you, an accidental bystander, become part of a master plan so big that even the imperial court would sigh if they knew. That's how Chapter 2 begins. Money gone, people suffering, officials shady, you confused, Ying smiling. Now then, what's really going on here? First, let's take a look at what actually happened in this chapter. Many people lost their lives in the Blissful Retreat massacre, and Aunt Han has gone missing. Fortunately, you found a letter addressed to her. In it, the sender says their deal with Aunt Han has been accepted, and she must appear at the Heroes' Assembly. The meeting point is Wheatwind Bazaar outside Kaifeng. So, you board a boat from Heaven's Pier and set off to look for Aunt Han. When you arrive at Wheatwind Bazaar, you spot an elderly grandmother selling trinkets. Feeling a bit sorry for her, you buy one to show support. While you're mumbling the name of the person who wrote the letter, Wook, a woman approaches you, clearly trying to scam you into buying her basket. And as if that's not enough, suddenly everyone around you claims to be some sort of relative of this mysterious Wook and tries to sell you a treasure basin. Before you can even figure out what's going on, you're accused of ruining their business and get attacked by a group of thugs. They throw hidden weapons, knock your coin pouch to the ground, and, without missing a beat, that woman from earlier snatches it up and runs. Wait, are they all in on this together? Just when you're surrounded by the thugs, a beautiful young woman appears and rescues you. She introduces herself as Ying, claiming to be one of the four keepers of Weiyong. You believe her? You've barely exchanged two sentences when she invites you to grab a meal together. The progress is aggressively fast. You like it? Sure, but it's a bit suspicious. Still, since you're now completely broke, you swallow your pride and follow her for a free meal. From Ying, you learn that a man named Wen Wook, also known as the Ember of East, is hosting the upcoming Heroes' Assembly at Revelry Hall. His goal is to stabilize Kaifeng's money shortage using a gold-making vessel to produce more currency. Currently, two types of coins are in circulation. Copper coins made from copper by the Song Dynasty, and Tang coins made from iron by the Tang of Zhongnan. The problem is, the Song Dynasty banned Tang coins, but they don't have enough copper to mint new coins, while iron is way too abundant. So if the gold-making vessel can create copper coins, all their problems would be solved. Honestly, this is your first time leaving your village. Who knew the world was this weird? As the food arrives, Ying asks to taste the jar of wine you've been carrying. This wine holds precious memories from the blissful retreat, so you refuse, saying it's for family only. At that moment, Ying's attitude flips instantly. Turns out she only invited you to eat so she could drink your wine. When you start getting suspicious, she suddenly clutches her stomach, claims she needs the bathroom, and vanishes. After you finish eating, you can't find Ying anywhere. The waiter brings you a note she left behind. And surprise, this kind-hearted woman has decided to pass on to you the secret to becoming rich. Sell your precious jar of wine for starting capital. Then read the next page. At this point, you finally understand. The Zhonghu is truly ruthless. Scammers everywhere. She said she was treating you to a meal, but in the end, she ran off without paying. Faced with the prospect of staying behind to wash dishes at the inn, you reluctantly decide to try Ying's method. To your surprise, it actually works. You pawn your precious jar of wine and earn a pretty sizable amount of money. Turns out becoming a scammer isn't that hard after all. Following the instructions in Ying's brocade bag, you buy a batch of grain at a cheap price and plan to sell it to someone who will pay more. but the world is small, painfully small. You run straight into old Jin, the scammer you exposed back in Chapter 1. He demands to help you and asks for a small commission, or else he'll expose the fact that the young master of Blissful Retreat is still alive. You're furious, but you have no other choice and agree. The two of you go find the Tao Lord's buyer for the grain, only to see the buyer is a little girl. After being scammed all the time since arriving in this city, your scam radar is extremely sensitive. Because of that, you immediately notice that 80% of the payment is in Tang coins. Another few seconds, and you would have been broke again. You sell the grain to another merchant instead, then take the money back to the inn to reclaim your jar of wine. But it's already been bought by someone else. That familiar, "I've been scammed again" feeling washes over you. Truly, nothing in this world goes as expected. You return to confront the little girl, but she's tight-lipped. You give old Jin his commission and send him away, then force the girl to lead you to Revelry Hall, threatening to hand her over to the authorities if she refuses. Her name is Little Fu, and she looks even younger than Ruby, yet she's clearly far more experienced in the ways of the Zhonghu. She calls you a mountain boy who thinks Kaifeng is some glamorous city. To correct your misunderstanding, she brings you up to the city wall to show you the real Kaifeng, a place filled with cries of suffering from the common people. Continuing toward Revelry Hall, you're stopped at an inspection point. The soldiers here check if anyone is using Tang coins. Offenders will be punished immediately. Earlier, because you didn't want to waste money, you kept the Tang coins from Little Fu. Now your greed has come back to bite you. You resist the soldiers, but there are too many. You and Little Fu are cornered. Suddenly, out of nowhere, a flock of chickens rushes in and starts attacking the soldiers. Someone is basically playing real-life Angry Birds with the guards. Taking advantage of the distraction, a man pulls you to safety. This chubby fellow is called Big Zhao, and strangely enough, everyone in town seems eager to help him. After seeing your fighting technique, he assumes you're from the Zhang family and rescues you. Since you want to enter Revelry Hall for the Heroes' Assembly, but don't have an invitation, Big Zhao uses his connections to sneak you in. Coincidentally, the one helping from the inside is the same boatman from Heaven's Pier. But once inside, you hit a second checkpoint. Two men without invitations try to force their way through and are instantly killed by the Ember of East, who flicks a life coin at them. Not wanting to die like that, Big Zhao finds a safer method, disguising yourselves as event staff. With no options left, you abandon your dignity and put on the embarrassingly revealing outfit. Big Zhao isn't shy either. Despite being overweight, he plays his role with surprising commitment. The two of you reach the third floor, and thanks to Big Zhao's connections, you are stationed as a guard inside the Ember of East's room. But before you can talk to him, the gold-making vessel demonstration begins. Heroes and famous figures from all over fight to be the first to try it. But the imperial representative, Lord Shai, cuts ahead. When he puts his hand into the vessel, coins pour out non-stop, spilling everywhere. Everyone is stunned by this absurd spectacle. In the midst of the excitement, a series of explosions rocks the VIP rooms, and everyone is shoved down toward the main stage. The heroes scramble to verify whether the vessel is real, and amid the chaos, the vessel ends up wrapped and somehow lands in your arms. You can't tell whether to feel lucky or cursed. Dozens of elite fighters now have their swords pointed directly at you. At that moment, Big Zhao brings in the authorities, and the prefect of Kaifeng arrives. But when the bag is opened, the item inside isn't the gold-making vessel. Suddenly, you become the prime suspect. Great, brilliant, completely unfair, and you have no idea how to explain it. You're about to be detained for investigation, but thankfully Big Zhao vouches for you. The prefect agrees to let you find the real culprit and clear your own name, but only if you swallow a poison pill. You now have 7 days to uncover the truth, or die from the poison. You accidentally discover that Big Zhao and the prefect of Kaifeng are actually brothers. So that's why you were bailed out so easily. The two of you investigate the crime scene and find a strange mask. You have no idea what it is, But Big Zhao has a friend who knows everything, so surely he'll help. Before meeting this all-knowing guy, you want to speak with the Emperor of East and ask about Aunt Han. But even with Big Zhao's connections, guards refuse to let you in. So the two of you go to consult Master Pu about the Mesk. He explains that it belongs to the Nine Mortal Ways, a mysterious sect that appears and disappears like smoke. Rumor says they're hiding in the underground, and the only way to reach the underground is to find the ferryman and buy a ticket. The next day, you go with Big Zhao to the meeting spot to look for the ferryman, but Big Zhao seems a little scared, so he begs to stay outside and provide backup. To get the route to the underground, you must trade something with the ferryman. He wants Hong-Sai's scroll. You go to the location he mentioned and steal the scroll. But suddenly the place swarms with constables chasing you. Weird. It's like they were already waiting in ambush. Even though you're surrounded, your agility saves you. You leap onto a passing carriage. Coincidentally, Big Zhao is the one driving it, speeding straight toward the city gate. But the gate starts closing, forcing both of you to jump off and escape into a narrow alley. Big Zhao stays behind to hold off the constables, so you can get away. Truly a reliable man. You hide inside a house and unexpectedly run into Little Fu and the turtle-selling granny. Turns out this is where they live. You want to look for Big Zhao to see if he escaped, but Little Fu insists on going in your place. She's still that kid, but somehow her voice suddenly sounds strangely different. After she leaves, you ask Granny Turtle about the ghost market, the place you need to reach in the underground. But instead of answering, she begins telling you a ghost story. And her storytelling is so vivid that you get completely absorbed. So absorbed that when Big Zhao shows up outside the door looking exactly like the ghost from her story, both of you scream your souls out. Ying Ying is with Big Zhao as well, and she freezes the moment she sees you. At long last, you found a scammer who ran off without paying. Ying Ying, terrified that her mother, Granny Turtle, will find out she conned you, pulls you aside to make a deal. She promises to help you track down the gold-making vessel. Right then, the woman who stole your coin pouch shows up looking for Ying Ying and immediately flees upon seeing you. Little Fu also runs back to find Ying Ying and totally bolts the second she sees you too. Could this whole neighborhood be one giant scammer headquarters? Did they all team up to target you? You catch the woman who stole your money, only to learn she already spent it all on medicine for her sick child. Granny Turtle, seeing that Lady Joe stole only because of her child, insists on paying you back with her own money. But you can't accept that. Ying Ying says she'll teach Lady Joe how to earn money tomorrow. But for now, everyone should sit down and eat together. During dinner, Granny reveals she has a son serving in the military and recently received a letter from him. But it seems Ying Ying is hiding the truth that her brother has died to avoid breaking her mother's heart. Later, you and Big Zhao climb onto the rooftop to talk. While you're busy analyzing the case, realizing that the gold-making vessel might have been used to produce Tang coins, Big Zhao just falls asleep. The next morning, Ying Ying already has a plan, one that helps Lady Joe make money and helps you track where the largest amount of Tang coins is circulating. The plan: selling goods while accepting both types of coins. But when you see the goods, straw basins, you realize this is absolutely scam adjacent. And of course, you're right. Ying Ying has probably spread a rumor that once the court finds the gold-making vessel, anyone who sings the Song of Mercy will magically have their straw basin filled with money. Suspicious or not, people still rush to buy them in bulk. After counting the sales, it turns out that the area with the most Tang coin transactions is exactly where the ferryman operates. Big Zhao then gives a whole economics lecture. Since Tang coins are made of iron, and iron is overproduced, the coin naturally loses value, which is why banning it makes sense. At that moment, Lord Shai and his soldiers arrive to confiscate Tang coins. Ying Ying hands you all the coins to hide, but Lady Joe keeps glancing nervously at the hiding spot. Because of that, the soldiers discover them. She doesn't dare claim the Tang coins as hers. Anyone caught using them is punished, so Lord Shai leaves feeling triumphant. Watching Lady Joe break down, losing even the money she needed to save her child, you finally see it clearly. Someone has to die for Kaifeng's problems to be solved. When you return to Yingying's home, you find Granny Turtle having another episode, insisting that this Yingying isn't her real daughter. That's when you realize this Yingying is a fake, someone pretending to be Granny's daughter just to keep the old woman's heart at peace. Yingying explains that she actually grew up in a filthy rich family, the kind of place where money is abundant but humanity is scarce. She couldn't endure it and was eventually thrown out onto the streets, left to fend for herself. That was when Granny Turtle took her in. Now, she plans to take revenge and reclaim what should have been hers all along. But before she can finish, Yingying suddenly notices that Granny has disappeared. The two of you split up to search. You find Granny Turtle and Lady Joe nearby. It looks like Lady Joe tried to steal Granny's money to buy medicine for her son, but the soldiers caught her. Meanwhile, Granny Turtle is sobbing because she suddenly remembers her son has been gone for a long time. You step in before Lord Shi's soldiers can hurt anyone, but the moment the situation calms down, Lord Shi turns to you. Apparently your usefulness as bait is over, so he might as well get rid of you. Just when things get bad, Little Fu bursts onto the scene, holding the gold-making vessel, and lures Lord Shi's men away. When you find out Little Fu escaped down into the ash pit, a gathering place for thugs and bandits, you rush after her. Along the way, you casually save a disciple of the Nine Mortal Way, who tells you Little Fu is headed to Ghost Revelry Hall. There, you fight wave after wave of thugs until they finally realize you're too strong and decide it's not worth the trouble. You discover many kidnapped people locked up inside. A huge guard blocks your path, and during the fight he smashes the wooden floor, sending you crashing down into an underground sewer. After being carried by the water, you wake up in a foul-smelling cave. And there, right ahead, is Little Fu. You give chase and unexpectedly run into the Tao Lord, who looks like a full-blown monster. 3 rat heads, 6 arms. But after a fierce fight, his body splits into 3. You nearly jump out of your skin until you realize they're just 3 tiny ratlings. Once you defeat them, the truth comes out. They're Little Fu's triplet siblings. Still stubborn, they throw smoke bombs and escape again. You chase them all the way to the ghost market and finally catch Little Fu and her sister, Little Shu. They confess that the gold-making vessel is actually fake, and everything that happened in Revelry Hall was an illusion created using the sound of coins. It all started when the Ember of East struck a string of coins. You're a bit stunned. It was all a staged performance. After capturing the last sibling, Little Lu, you learn there's someone behind all of this. Even with the 3 kids and the Ember of East, it wouldn't have been enough. Someone powerful within the government had to be involved to smuggle so many Tang coins into Kaifeng. The whole act was meant to give the people hope and to force the court to realize the seriousness of the situation and help the citizens. Whoever these kids call Master must be extremely capable. Once you return to the surface with the trio, you find squads of soldiers searching for Little Fu, surrounding the entire district. You meet Yingying again. Thankfully, she's safe. But before you can lead everyone to safety, Lady Joe shows up with Lord Shi's men. She had no choice. Her son was being held hostage. Seeing Lord Shi's cruelty makes your blood boil. You're ready to take his head off, but he's no fool either. Annoyed by your existence, he draws his sword and blitz toward you with speed rivaling the Flash. You barely have time to blink before he's upon you. Thankfully, Yingying appears just in time, stopping the blade with 2 fingers. The force of the strike blows off her wig, revealing her stunning golden hair. You're still processing this dramatic reveal when she fires a life coin at Lord Shi. That technique, the Ember of East, which means Yingying is actually Wook, the very person you've been searching for all along. She stays behind to hold Lord Shi off, telling you to take the others and escape. When you later regroup with the kids, everyone wants to go back and save Yingying. You then realize the brocade pouch Yingying gave you earlier contains a note. Tonight, make the people believe, and sing the song of mercy. If they do, the court will distribute coins. It sounds unrealistic, almost absurd, but you trust Ying completely. The three siblings and Granny Turtle rush off to rally the townsfolk, while you're about to go be the hero who saves the damsel in distress. You sneak up to the horse carriage carrying the Tang coins and quietly slip under it. Luckily, the idiot guards don't notice a thing. Once inside the furnace grounds, you basically feel like you've jumped straight into Assassin's Creed, sneaking your way into a dungeon where Ying is probably being held. After stealing a key and slipping down into the dungeon, you find a bunch of prisoners locked up. They go absolutely feral the moment money is mentioned. While you're distracted, the three siblings shove you into a cell, punishing you for trying to play hero alone. Eventually you reach a treasure-filled room, complete with a painting of the god of fortune. Except the face on it is Lord Shi's. Huh? Has this man completely lost it? Last time you checked, the real god of fortune was the Ember of East. But little Lu, the smartest of the bunch, explains the truth. In Weiyang, the god of fortune has a counterpart, the god of avarice. And that god seems to be none other than Lord Shai himself. After looting all his treasure, as heroes do, you and the little sisters discover a hidden passage. You go first and hear Ying calling for help. When you get close, you see her chained to a giant coin tree. And before you can do anything, bam, you pass out from the clacking sound of coins. The little sisters eventually wake you up, but Ying is gone. Instead, a swarm of soldiers comes charging in. You beat them down, including their female captain, and infiltrate the furnace tower thanks to the little sisters' distraction. Inside, it looks like a massive forge where countless people have been enslaved to work. You spot Ying's cat and follow it. But the guards discover you, and as if they've practiced for days, they attack in a chaotic frenzy. Luckily, your parkour skills are on point, letting you dodge, weave, and scale your way up to the top of the tower. You slip back inside from above and reach the secret chamber. There, you meet Lord Shai again. But he's no longer just a petty official. He's transformed into the full-fledged god of avarice. The fight is brutal. The guy has a whole arsenal of bizarre tricks. Just when you're about to collapse, you feel a surge of power coming from the life coin inside Ying's brocade pouch. It's the strength drawn from the people's hope itself. Your blade becomes stronger than ever, and with one decisive strike, you slice Lord Shai down and leap out of the furnace. You land right in the middle of a heated conversation between the Ember of East and the Prefect of Kaifeng. You point your sword at the Prefect, but at that moment, a man in imperial robes arrives and intervenes. A few days later, Big Zhao in the marketplace is retelling your heroic tale to the neighborhood kids. How the imperial court finally stepped up for the people, how they solved the copper shortage by issuing paper money and allowing citizens to exchange Tang coins for copper coins from the treasury. As for you, after the battle, you finally reunite with Ying to ask about Aunt Han. But after reading the letter between the two of them, she admits she doesn't actually know where Aunt Han is. Ying plans to return to Weiyang to fight for power and promises to help you once she succeeds. But there is a faster way. Go to Velvet Shade. Everything that happened at the Heroes' Assembly had been arranged for Ying. She wasn't the one who organized it herself. The payment she offered to get Velvet Shade to stage that whole performance was your jar of parting tears. And so, the two of you part ways here, promising to meet again someday. And that's where Chapter 2 ends. A long chapter packed with events, characters, and surprisingly emotional moments. It's no wonder things feel a bit more confusing than Chapter 1. So let's untangle a few threads. First, Chapter 2 revolves around a severe copper coin shortage in Kaifeng, the sudden flood of Tang coins, and the ban on Tang coins that pushed ordinary people into misery. But why was there a copper shortage at all? Where did all the copper coins go? Was someone behind it? From Hong Sai's scroll, we learn that copper coins have been disappearing little by little. Someone must have been hoarding them on purpose to create this crisis. With no copper coins left, people turned to Tang coins. But because the Song dynasty wanted to protect the value of their own currency, they banned Tang coins, leaving citizens unable to even buy food. So one person decided to step forward with an extremely elaborate plan to save everyone. Ying. Using a hidden identity, the Ember of East, she used her connections to call heroes to the Heroes' Assembly and announced the gifting of a gold-making vessel that would produce copper coins within 3 days. Aunt Han had been invited to take part in this grand illusion. But instead of Aunt Han, you showed up at Wheatwind Bazaar. If you didn't already know, Ying actually waited there for 3 days straight until she saw you getting ganged up on by thugs. Why did she help you and invite you to eat? Not because you're the protagonist, okay? Her real target was your jar of wine. Stealing it was her main objective. So she scammed you into owing the inn money, then told you how to pawn your wine jar, only to secretly buy it back later using her Ember of East identity. That jar of parting tears was what she needed to pay Velvet Shade to set up the staged Heroes' Assembly for her. Once the jar was gone, you weren't all that useful anymore, so she let Little Fu scam you again by using Tang coins to buy your grain, basically teaching you that the Zhonghu is dangerous and you should keep your nose out of it. But Little Fu messed up, and the accident led you to meet Big Zhao. He helped you because he thought you were from the Zhong family, specifically referring to Zhong Yan, since your sword skills were taught by Uncle Zhong. This wasn't the first time someone recognized your sword style, which proves Zhong Yan's reputation is pretty well known. From there, Big Zhao helped you sneak into the Heroes' Assembly, and somehow you ended up being the prime suspect. Sure, the gold-making vessel was fake and everyone had fallen for Yingying's illusion, but someone had to steal the vessel to keep the act from falling apart. That someone was Dao Lord, the current sect master of the Nine Mortal Ways. Who would have thought Dao Lord was actually the combined form of the 3 Little Fu sisters? Not only did they cooperate with Yingying's gold-making vessel trick, they were also responsible for smuggling huge amounts of Tang coins into Kaifeng. When you interrogated them, they repeatedly mentioned their master and his vision of saving the people of Kaifeng, but they never revealed who he truly was. Their ideals match Yingying's, but it's likely someone else is involved, because just Dao Lord and the Ember of East wouldn't be enough to carry out such a massive scheme. Of course, if you complete certain side quests, you'll uncover more characters connected to this conspiracy, like this guy, for example. After stealing Hong Sai's scroll and getting chased, you accidentally hid in the very same place where Yingying and the little sisters were. That was definitely not part of Yingying's plan. But after seeing you stand up to Lord Shai multiple times, she recognized your sense of justice. From that moment, you truly became part of her plan, especially when she handed you the brocade pouch containing the life coin. Think about it. If the townspeople sang the Song of Mercy, but you didn't have the life coin with you, or if you weren't fighting Lord Shai at that exact moment, the whole plan would have collapsed. It almost feels like the protagonist is being moved around the chessboard, every step guided by Yingying's design. She needed to let herself get captured so you would storm the furnace. As for Lord Shai, this chubby magistrate turned out to possess insane martial arts skills and could even withstand Yingying's life coin strike. According to the game, he's originally from Weiyong, and it's considered the god of avarice. Unlike Yingying, who was cast out of Weiyong, Lord Shai abandoned the city because he wasn't respected. He brought Weiyong's martial arts with him, joined the Ariat Pavilion, and had them alter his face to replace the real Lord Shai. So this man had 2 identities: Mystic Supervisor of Ariat Pavilion and Magistrate of Kaifeng Prefecture, which means the Ariat Pavilion might very well be behind the copper coin shortage, especially since Lord Shi's room is overflowing with money and treasure. Now, about Big Zhao. With that kind of body, there's no way he's one of the starving commoners of Kaifeng. Everywhere he goes, he has connections, people ready to help him, pull strings for him, or at least pretend they don't see him breaking rules. Add to that the fact that he has a relative serving as the prefect of Kaifeng, and his ordinary citizen identity becomes, let's just say, questionable. And near the end of the chapter, A man in imperial yellow robes appears, someone whose build and posture look suspiciously similar to Big Zhao's. The likelihood is extremely high that Big Zhao is actually Zhao Kuangyin, the emperor of the Song dynasty, disguised and traveling in secret to observe the state of his people. Throughout the chapter, we can clearly see how he avoids breaking the law, supports the confiscation of Tang coins, and tries to act like a model citizen. But after living among the common folk, he realizes that the very policies meant to protect people from Tang coins were being twisted by corrupt officials, causing the people to suffer even more. In the end, he's forced to reveal his imperial identity and personally intervene to help the citizens. So if we summarize Chapter 2, yes, the people were suffering because of the copper coin shortage and the Tang coin situation. And yes, Yingying launched the gold-making vessel plan to draw the court's attention to Kaifeng and push them into helping the people. All very reasonable. But that's only the tip of the iceberg. So let's dive into the real conspiracy behind Chapter 2. Big Zhao mentioned that ending the war quickly would spare countless lives, just like how Granny Turtle lost both her son and daughter to war. This tells us something important. The Song dynasty is still engaged in warfare with surrounding regions, specifically internal rebellions in Jinghu and campaigns against Zhongnan and Shu. In wartime, sabotaging the enemy's economy is a legitimate strategy. The flood of Tang coins into Kaifeng, that's no coincidence. That's an operation carried out by some organization. It might be the Ariat Pavilion, a group affiliated with the Zhongnan Kingdom. Or it might be the Zhongnan court itself, since Tang coins are minted there. As for Yingying, she was once the emperor of East in Weiyang City, but was cast out after a major incident. She lived peacefully in Kaifeng with Granny Turtle, until the Tang coin confiscation policy hit. That's when she decided she would both save Kaifeng's people and take revenge on the forces in Weiyang. But martial arts alone aren't enough. She needed backing. And she even told Granny Turtle, "I'm going to make the biggest deal of my life," meaning she had already joined hands with powerful forces to put her plan into motion. So what was the real purpose behind the gold-making vessel plan? It all hinged on Yingying's title as the God of Fortune, a symbol of wealth and abundance. Sure, a vessel that creates money sounds absurd, but it gave the people of Kaifeng hope. The Heroes' Assembly was designed to attract the imperial court's attention to Kaifeng's crisis. Even though the vessel was fake, once the show succeeded, everyone believed it was real. Then came the staged theft, and the rumor that the court had retrieved it. All of this placed even more pressure on the imperial government. The protagonist's battle with Lord Shai only emphasized one thing. Corrupt officials had abused the Tang coin confiscation policy to enrich themselves while harming the people. This entire theatrical performance was staged for the eyes of the imperial court, especially for Zhao Kuangyin, the new ruler of Kaifeng at the time. That name already sounds suspiciously similar to Big Zhao, doesn't it? But from the start, Zhao Kuangyin was the one who insisted on confiscating Tang coins rather than exchanging copper coins for the people. Why? Because the army desperately needed war funds to deal with the Jinghu rebellions. Yet, after witnessing the suffering of the people firsthand as Big Zhao, he realized that destroying the people's trust would destabilize the entire dynasty. So in the end, the court agreed to exchange Tang coins for copper coins. And with that decision, the Song dynasty's treasury suffered a heavy blow, enough to delay their planned invasion of Zhongnan. And that delay was the true objective of the mastermind. So what does Yingying gain? If her only goal were to save Kaifeng's people, why does she later plan to return to Weiyang? She said it herself, she wants revenge. She wants to reclaim everything taken from her in Weiyang. So now it makes sense. After successfully draining the Song dynasty's treasury and halting their invasion of Zhongnan, the powers in Zhongnan would, in return, support Yingying in seizing power in Weiyang City. That, perhaps, is the biggest deal of her life. Now the big questions. Who exactly struck this deal with Yingying? Who else took part in the gold-making vessel scheme? Will you be able to find Aunt Han at Velvet Shade? And if Water Lady, Aunt Han, is known for her face-changing skills. Could the Arya Pavilion have targeted her in Chapter 1 to silence her for altering Lord Shi's face? All of this remains to be uncovered, so stay tuned for the next videos. Until we meet again, young wanderer.